Welcome to the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise here on the ICMG, the Island City Media Group, where the beach meets the streets. Tonight, we are featuring brother Basilio Tubera II, originally from the Philippines via the way of San Jose, now residing in Las Vegas, California, as he tells his story about this R3 redemption, this redemption that you could find on r3redemption.com, as well as on IG at r3redemption underscore community on Instagram. He's got a great story where he was in the Bay Area, San Jose, Milpitas, started jacking cars, joyriding, high speed chases, led to 32 months in prison, to now making sure that he shares his redemption story with youth and the community all over the country. Here on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron, together we rise on Island City, where the beach meets the streets. Now, a word from our sponsor.
Whenever it's cold outside and you need a little heat, at the game or in a plane it's comfortable on your feet. When it's time for a nap, it's a pillow for your sleep. Get your comfy blanket now. Get your comfy blanket now.
Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. Offering for your consideration through some of my insights, but definitely from our featured guests, these success frameworks, behavioral models, and life lessons that if you and me should feel that there's value there, that we subscribe to it and deploy it all over our life, leadership, and business. Here on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron, together we rise, powered by the Island City Media Group, where the beach meets the streets. Today, we got the 702 in the hizzy, and then, through the Bay Area, definitely, is brother Basilio Tubera II. Born in the Philippines, Basilio and his family came to the United States for the American dream. When he was 4 years old, he is the middle child of 5 in the family and was known as being the annoying little brother who was always joking around, kind of like Joe Coy. Like, when, what do they say all the time? Joseph, who told you funny, Joseph? That was your boy Basilio. Growing up with strict immigrant parents, he was never allowed to play organized sports or participate in extracurricular activities. Despite discipline and the good intentions of his parents, Basilio began a life of wrongful and unlawful decisions that ended him up in jail, not once, but twice, all before he was 21 years old. Life changed when he met his wife of 23 years in 1998. Together, they are proud parents of 2 adult children, ages 22 and 18. Becoming a father, he wanted to make sure he raised his kids, giving them all the opportunities that he felt like he didn't have. His kids got into sports at early ages, and he coached pretty much all of their teams in soccer, baseball, and basketball. Basilio and his wife created great relationships, not only with families, but especially with the kids. They believed that they had an opportunity to not just teach them the fundamentals about sports, but this would be seeds planted in his heart for a greater vision. Professionally, Basilio has been an electrician for over a quarter of a century, 25 years. After many attempts to get out of the trade, there may be a light at the end of this tunnel. His passion for youth, a desire to find redemption in his own life journey, and his ability to connect with the hearts of all ages has led him to becoming the co-founder of a nonprofit organization that was placed on his heart over a decade ago, Redemption with the Tres, Three, Tolu, and Tongan Community, or R3C, bridges the gap between adolescence to adulthood through programs to support personal development, to support growth, and to support success through mind, body, and spirit fundamentals. Through providing resources, mentorship, and hope, R3C will be changing the trajectory of lives by breathing belief into them about their future and their future opportunities that are truly unlimited. Along with growing R3C, Basilio spends his time working at the county with the gang prevention program for kids, serving at his church through leading small groups, outreach, and children's ministry. Over 2 years ago, he moved his family from the Bay Area to Viva Las Vegas, Nevada, where he currently resides. Welcome to the Coach V Show. Your boy, Basilio, my man B. Tubera in the house. B, what's up, my man? How you living?
Good.
You look good, man. Looking all shaved up and trimmed up. You looking nice and fit. What's going on, B? Talk to me about your Genesis point. Read your bio. We have an insight into your background through your bio, but tell us, what is your story and what is your Genesis point, brother B?
So I was born in Olongapo City in the Philippines, province of Zambales. And my father and my second oldest brother came to the States first to just get acquainted with the United States. And then my mom, my eldest brother, and myself flew out thereafter after we established some work. Moved over to, we were in San Jose when I was 4. Grew up there, pretty much raised in the Bay Area, and then moved out further north to the Milpitas area. I spent my adolescent and high school years in all of San Jose education, and was I was scared. I was very scared as a young adult, man. Just growing up, I feared a lot of things. I really kept to myself. I didn't want to go outside of my family very much. I rarely had friends. I didn't want to learn English. Even though I knew English, I just told them that I didn't want to talk. I didn't understand. I was in ESL. English was a second language to me. That's what they thought. But I mean, just being in the Bay Area and being around a lot of rebellious kids at that time, I kind of latched onto that, and it kind of took me down a path that I didn't feel was meant for me, but I went down it anyway because I felt like there was acceptance there. And I really struggled with trying to find my own identity, being my own man. And as life grew on, I realized I had to stop letting life happen to me and start joining life. And when I made that kind of realization in my life, I started to just try to cut out the things that were just holding me back, from becoming who I needed to be, especially not just for myself, but just for everyone that was associated with me, family members, friends. I was always a happy-go-lucky kid, but still timid, just didn't want to never wanted to test the waters. I was always trying to play it safe. But then when I got around the wrong guys, I really let loose in the wrong way.
Right. So in that, growing up in the 408, am I right?
408.
San Jose. Introduce us to your parents. 5 siblings total, so introduce your other 4 brothers and sisters. Please let us know who they are and let's shout them out.
My eldest brother is Bernard. My second eldest brother is Landon. My sister is Ateni, and my youngest brother is Brian.
And where do you fall in that 5?
I'm in the middle.
Right in the middle. And then what about your parents? Introduce us to your parents.
My father's name is Benjamin Gerlajo Tubera, and my mom is Aurora Tubera.
Nice. Where do they live now currently?
They both passed. They're with the Lord right now.
Right. So condolences on that. And shout out to mom and dad looking down that you're in the Hollywood radio show. We're going to be in studio in the future, man, but you're doing some things. So you're figuring some things out. Talk about what are the things it is that are some life lessons that you can learn of any of the Pinoys or Pinoys, right, that are watching right now about your immigrant experience, right? About coming here and how to figure some things out and assimilate. And if assimilate is too strong of a word, meaning changing and becoming something that you're not, or around your culture or American society, what about some life lessons to help them transition and become the very best that they can be? Please help.
I think for me, the Filipino community is it's very strong. They're very. I think the Filipino culture is very loved, very appreciative. The culture is very hardworking, but then again, they're very family oriented. So my parents were on the stricter side, mostly my dad. He grew up having a lot of friends, but his experience was his friends kind of turned on him and kind of did some backstabbing towards the family. They robbed his mom's house.
Oh,
So after that experience, coming to the States, he was very he didn't really want us to be associated too much with friends and put all of our trust in our friends just because of what happened during his experiences. And
yeah.
he was very strict, so he kind of held me back, and he was respectful of our friends and people that we associated with, but he didn't like us putting all our trust in them just because of what happened with him. And I think the culture is growing. The Filipino culture in the States is growing as far as the kids are really kind of coming into their own. You know,
Mm,
there's the old ways and the traditional ways. I mean, we respect that, but coming into the States, I think a lot of the Filipino community, they're finding their own voice here in the United States. I mean, you see them all over. They have their own. They're in movies. They're trying to get into sports. I mean, wherever they can, and own talk shows. They have their own channel. So it's growing, and I really appreciate being a Filipino American and just to trying to trying to be who I need to be for our community too, and be a voice for our community.
that's
And
awesome. Go ahead. Go ahead. What else were you going to say?
I really want to take my kids back to the Philippines because I haven't been back since I came here, since I was 4 years old. I just want to see. I just want them to see where our family comes from. That's one of my goals.
Yeah. I think you're on the level up call, and we had Talanoa Hufanga's dad, Devita Hufanga, on that call, right? Yeah, yeah. Was that cool? That
That
dude
was
is
fun.
awesome, huh?
Yes.
So shout out to Devita, because Devita planted that in my mind on one of the calls. We've been on a few calls already with Devita, man. He's just such a good dude. Shout out Devita Hufanga, who was on the Coach V show just last week. He and his wife birthed two amazing kids, and one of them is Talanoa Hufanga, who's the starting safety for the Niners. And he said one of the most amazing experiences they had as a family, him and his sons, is going back to Tonga. And it
Oh,
gave them so much perspective about how grateful they should be here in the States for the things they have,
that's
right?
that's
Go
where I
ahead.
want.
Go ahead. What would you add to that?
That's where I mean, that's why I want my kids to actually see where they come from. As much as I appreciate the American culture, I just want them to hold on to their own culture and where they come from. At least, see where their blood comes from.
Yeah. That's just an insightful thing for me too, because up until Tevita saying that, I really had no. I mean, I love Cabo. I love Foxport, Bahamas. Um I love the Caribbeans. We just this past summer we were in freaking Cozumel, and man, we love places, right? But I never think about going to Tonga, man. But when he brought that up, I think you guys are right in line with, we really know what we want today as a family and where we want to go, but what is that really in the context of if we don't know where we're from and who we are, right? And that's part of that. And so that's something that both of you and Devita have brought to the front front and center in the forefront of my mind. Talk about high school, growing up, rolling around in dropped Integras with mufflers and lowriders. Is that you or am I off? Am I off? Am I off?
No.
Come on, Supras back in the 90s, right? What was that? The Nissan Zs. Remember those? Those were money. Talk about high school and getting into that culture, the Fast and the Furious culture that's known out there right now. Was that part of you? And what did you learn by making the mistakes you did? And then what would be some life lessons you could give to people out there that might be tempted by the dark side? B.
I mean, that was like right on. That was us. We were out there racing in the streets late at night, over there by Great America.
Oh, yeah? Santa Clara?
Yeah. That's where most of it would go down. We'd be triple parked on the side, hundreds of cars out there, dispersed when the cops come, But for me, it was just being in that environment really, like, it really took my life on a course that I wasn't really, prepared for. That's what I would say to a lot of young kids out there is be careful of who you surround yourself with and the environment that you put yourself in. Make sure it's a positive one, that you're surrounding yourself with people that are, one of the pastors you say, plus people that add to your life rather than take away from it, because a lot of the kids out there, a lot of them don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with their lives. And I hate to say it, but they don't like to see other kids do better than them. They want them to be at that same level, and be happy and being happy at the same level. No, at that age, when I was growing up, no one liked to see each other level up. And that was kind of sad. So that's like my one point for kids is just to make sure that you surround yourself with people that are doing better than you. So you have a good example, a good platform to start from, rather than trying to figure everything out like me through failure and always trying to pick up the pieces. That's a hard life to live. And I did live a hard life because I didn't want to learn from other people's pain. I didn't want pain to be my wisdom. And that's what I tell my kids, that I share the things that I go through with life, not to scare them or not to make them feel like, your dad's a bad person and he didn't learn anything. I tell them those things so they know what kind of life that I live and the kind of life that I want them to achieve and live through my failures. They don't have to fail at a lot of things. And I know that my kids are going to have to experience things on their own. I get that. I can't shelter them from everything, but I can at least try to have my voice be the loudest voice in their head. And that's what I'm trying to do with the kids that we meet too.
I love that. I love that. So one of the things it is that I think all, not just youth, but immature people don't understand. And I'm talking mainly for myself. And then you just tell me what your thoughts are on this. One, that success is something and good things are something that are not given, they're earned. One, right? Come on.
Yes.
And then we fail to recognize until it's too late that in a blink of an eye, like that, things can go from being all good to all bad, right? And then third is, if Dracula's out at midnight, your ass should not be out. And then at a certain age, if the clock strikes 12 and Dracula is out and there's alcohol or drugs involved or fast cars, there's a certain segment of our society where the age group, they die. They don't just come home and have a rough morning. They freaking die. Those are three things. Success is earned in the blink of an eye. And at midnight, there are certain times where not only are you at the wrong place at the wrong time, you placed yourself and your ass in the wrong place at the wrong time. Come on, B, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree. Anything, if you're going into the next day not having slept, nothing good's ever going to come from that. And there's no positives in that. You're already going into the day of not being rested, not being able to reflect. I think that's one thing that I'm learning now, that I need to reflect on the things that have happened in my life. And kids need to reflect on the things that happen during their day. It's breaking it down more into that, like what happened today, what are the good things that happened in my day. And not a lot of kids do that. They only reflect on what's going bad. They don't reflect on anything that's going good in their life. And it's those little tweaks, those and change of how they think and how they look at what's going on in their life, that's what we're trying to have these kids kind of open their mind to.
Yeah, man. My kids go down to Tonga where the bathroom's outside. There's no water heater in most houses. Right? Yeah. There's not a Chick-fil-A. Not only is Chick-fil-A not open on Sunday, but there ain't no Chick-fil-A in Tonga. Perspective is a powerful thing. But ironically, right? I mean, the only way that I won't speak for you. My knucklehead ass, it was the hard way that really tempered me to go the right way. That I was no longer willing to pay for the consequences of my wrong choices or my decisions. Your thoughts on that, B?
Oh man, it's a hard life to live. Always trying to learn from your failures.
Yeah, man.
I'm telling you, man, it's tough because you're wasting a lot of time trying to figure out what went wrong, rather than just surrounding yourself around people that know what went wrong and how to get out of it. Like always trying to dig yourself out of a hole all the time. Like that was me. Like trying to right my wrongs, and then just not knowing that there's a better way, and that there's a better path, and thinking that my life always is just going to amount to this. This is always what happens, and just that constantly repeating in my mind, and just the cycle, the vicious cycle of this is what my life's meant to be, nothing but failure, not accomplishing anything. And we talked about this in our last call. It's the self-talk that I lacked. Like the way that I talk to other people is respectful, but
right.
The toxic way that I talk to myself and the things I used to say to my own self, that was horrible.
That's right.
And getting up and trying to talk to somebody, and trying to reach people when I couldn't even talk to myself, that was the tough. I think that's what a lot of kids deal with nowadays, is this comparison. Always trying to compare themselves like to other kids that are like doing better than them. But what you got to understand, the things that they sacrifice to get those things. You don't see what goes on behind the scenes. You only see the outcome, but no one ever wants to know what the process was that they went through and the transformation that needed to happen.
No, that's wise. That's wise. So share with us some of those struggles that you had. Got you into prison 2 times, and how that led to what it is that you're doing now with R3 Redemption, right?
Yeah, bro, it's like today I was really reflecting on it, like, man, what really happened? Like, it was just like, I was in a lot of honors classes in high school. I had high school teachers like asking me to be in their class, requesting me to be in their class. And then all of a sudden I just started hanging around the wrong kids, and then wanting just to have fun. I didn't feel like I was having enough fun, and that I was missing out on, what everybody else was doing, and everybody, and trying to compare. Like I want to compare my life to these guys, and I want to be like them. And then I ended up just not going to class. I think I had 92 absences in my O period class at 6 a.m. And my dad would drop me off. Then I would find somebody else to go out with, and just not be at school. I don't know what it was. I think it was just pure boredom. And I was just bored of just doing the right thing. And that's a scary place to be. Not fighting the good fight and wanting just to be rebellious. That really derailed my life. And then I ended up, just out jacking cars, just stealing cars and taking them out to the races, going out, just joyriding.
With a stolen car.
With a stolen car.
Wow.
And then my parents not even knowing, bro. That was like the hardest thing for me. It was like, I would steal cars, park them around my mom, around the corner from my mom's house, go home, take the stolen car, go to school, it was wild. I can't even, when I tell people like my story, they're just like,
Right.
that can't even be you. And then we
Yeah,
go to,
that's not B. B, that's you.
we
Right.
went to, me and Candice, when we first got together, we went to go get auto insurance. It was on there. Reckless driving, possession of a stolen car. And the guy was just like, took me to the side. He's like, what happened? You know, like, tell me the scoop. What happened? You know, how did you go on a high-speed chase with Milpitas police and San Jose PD? It's all a blur, and it goes by that quick. Like I said, just being around the wrong people and being in that environment and that atmosphere and feeling like, you know, okay, I got to ride this out. You know, I'm already in this deep, you know, and trying to get yourself out of it. And it was meant for me to get caught, because I remember that day so vividly. We were in, I want to say, in the Saratoga area, in one of the apartment complexes, and little did I know that one of the off-duty cops lived there. And we were in a stolen car, me and a friend of mine, and I look over at him, and he just has this blank look on his face. And by that time, he's getting out of the car. Off-duty PD comes up to my side with his gun drawn and pointed in my head with his German Shepherd, like just on me. And I was just like, he's like, don't move. I said, I'm not moving. And then I get locked up, you know. I don't even know why I still chose to do it. Same thing, you know. My mom was the only one that came to visit me, you know, got out. I didn't go home. I went with the same crowd that I was hanging out with, you know, felt like I had this image to uphold. And then we ended up going on another high. I get on a high. This is when I get on the high speed chase we went bowling in Milpitas. And these two cops come in. We see them come in. We get into the car, stolen car, drive out. He hits the lights on me. I pull over and I tell the guys that I'm with, I said, as soon as he comes up to the door, I'm out. As soon as he comes up to the door to shine his light, I flip a Yui, head down the road, and we go on a high-speed chase. We got that. But in 10 minutes, we had the helicopter in the sky with the spotlight on us, Milpitas and San Jose PD coming after us. We were going down the street, and then the first thing I heard is the first thing I did. He said, just stop. We'll all split up. So I was already way ahead of them, but that recommendation from somebody in the back, I don't know why you even listened to it, because the slowing down of us had them catch up. So all I hear when I get out is get the driver, right? And I was like, oh wow, so my friends take off one way and I go another way, and they all chase me, and my body just shuts down. Like in my mind, I'm still running. But in my mind, I'm still running, and my body just shuts down. And that's when I knew it was like, okay, this is it. You know, this is why this is the tipping point. Like I'm doing way too much, you know, and I'm sitting in the back of the cop car. I see my friends roll by, and I just give them the eyes like, hey, no, this is it. They got me. You know, there's nothing we can do. You know, they're in their car, they're strapped. They're like they want to do something. I'm like, don't make this worse. You know?
Yeah.
But then that's where everything really changed. Like I didn't really look at all the things I was doing. I'd never reflected. I was just on this mission of trying to live up this persona of this, you know what I mean, this tough guy. You know what I mean? No fear. You know, I don't fear anything. I don't even fear the law. But mind you, they put you in a place where you're gonna mind somebody. And God rest my mom's soul, she came to see me every weekend. Everyone, and the cool part is that everyone that I hung around, not one letter, didn't send me any money on my books, didn't come to visit me once. And I was less than 5-10 minutes away from them.
Yeah.
The realization of like really cutting cutting loose the people that, I mean, really, I thought that were there for me, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's your family, man. It's your family that's going to be there for you. That's why, like, I'm all for my family, man. I am all.
Yeah. Where did you serve and how long were you in?
I was at Elmwood Correctional Facility in Milpitas.
Uh-huh.
Man, I can still remember the day that I got released. Like, my mom wanted to come pick me up. I walked. My mom lived like 10 minutes away from that. I just knocked on the door, had long hair, and then my mom was like, why didn't you call me? Why did you? I just wanted to breathe fresh air. I mean, I didn't realize how valuable, like, my precious time was, until you get it taken away.
Yeah, that's right. How long were you in?
I think I was there for 32 months. I had served maybe 13 months, and then I had a public defender, man. It's just a nightmare. I didn't even get any of that. When I was fighting my case, I didn't get any of that time credited. So once I got sentenced, they were trying to send me to San Quentin, where my boy got sent. And that's when my mom she's like, okay, no, that can't happen. So she hired a lawyer, and they got me time. I still had to get a CDC number. So because of this is me my second offense, and they gave me my second strike because I mean, we'll get into that at a later time because they try to pin a assaulted police officer on me. Yeah. Like I said, reflecting on this, man, I can't believe any of that happened.
Wow. So talk about how that led to what you're doing today down in Las Vegas with Redemption.
Man, it's amazing, like, the lives that I'm gonna touch and that I've already, I mean, made an impact on. Because we ran one program for Valley High School here in Las Vegas, and I got vulnerable, man. I broke down. Like, I looked around the circle and kids were just crying. I just told them, like, how my family life was like growing up. It's not like I didn't have a dad, but it didn't seem like he was present.
Mm.
And he was trying to live up to this, I'm strong, man. I don't need anybody. You don't cry. I don't cry in this house, and you shouldn't either, kind of thing. And it was tough because I wanted him to, like, appreciate me and just, love him. And that's what I was trying to tell these kids, is that if it's just me saying that I care about you, then at least there's one person in your life that's telling you that I care about you. I care about what you do. I care about what happens in your family, because I believe that's where it all starts. You know what I mean? It's the home life, and that's what we're trying to do with Redemption Community is make the family unit strong, and just being vulnerable and sharing my own family experience, and then kind of like drop their wall a little bit, so
Uh-huh.
I was able to reach them.
Man. And so how do people connect with Redemption? Facebook page, website, how do we do that?
So you can go to redemption_community. That's our IG.
Okay.
And then you can reach us at redemption.com. And that's where
And
our
it's
website.
and it's Redemption with a 3.
Yeah. r3redemption.com. And then on Instagram, we are r3redemption_community.
Redemption_community. CUMMUNITY.
COMMUNITY.
Say that one more time. CO
COMMUNITY.
MMUNITY. Redemption Community on IG. So what would be your message to the world? B, taking the experiences that you had coming over, growing up in San Jose, having a pretty good life, right? Being an honor student, being an academic guy, getting bored, instead of going to 6 a.m. class, just leave, steal cars, do all that. Man, 32 months. Damn, that's 2 years and 8 months. Damn, I can't, man, for me, that's crazy. That's a lifetime, right? That's just so long. And you don't really know until you go there. But when I go there, I used to go to all these spots that my uncles were put in down in SoCal, Wayside, some county, right? And I'm just like, fuck, I am never coming here. Never, right? So, what's your message to the world given those experiences and now being married? You and Candice have two beautiful kids, right? And then you're working with the county there, you're at high schools, and then you're an electrician, your wife is an executive, right? Talk about all that and how that's going and what your message to the world will be. And start with your message to the world, please be.
I would say my message to the world is be the change you want to see in the world. And that's all I'm trying to do, is trying to be that change that I want to see in the world. You know, like what I live off of, you know, just treat people like how you want to be treated. You know, and that's how I've always lived. You know, if I want to see that change in the world, I have to be that change. And that would be my message. Like, whatever you want to see in the world, be that example that you want to see.
Mm-hmm. And what are some projects that Redemption has coming up and you and Candice have coming up that we need to look out for?
So we're trying to partner with, we're still trying to get through the red tape of the high schools. We're still planning our calendar for 2023. So we'll definitely connect with you once we get everything concrete on the dates of the programs that we're going to be running. But we're definitely going to try to come back to Valley High School and run some programs with them.
Very good. And then what about some shout outs? You got some shout outs here on the Coach V Show. Who would you like to shout out?
I want to shout out you, Coach.
All you, bro.
I want to shout.
Who else?
I want to shout out Coach Ty. She just started her own clothing line. It's IMI Clothing Official. IMI Official. So you can look that up on Instagram. She just started her own clothing line, and she's a co-founder of Redemption Community as well.
Good. And then lastly, 2 hot seat questions. So welcome to everybody that's just tuning in. I'm on here featuring brother Basilio II, the second, who is the co-founder of Redemption. He's down in Las Vegas, Nevada. You can connect with him at R3Demption, DEMPTION.com. And also on IG is R3Demption_community.
Yeah, that is our Instagram. The website is just r3demption.com.
Yep. So you can connect with him there. And thank you for tuning in and just listening to her story and hearing him. And we're just going to put him on 2 hot seat questions. And the first one is, and you've heard me say this before, and you've alluded to it throughout your whole testimony and telling of your story, is, you know, to choose to be around the right people, because we are who we roll with, we become who we hang around, and we really do assimilate to whom we associate. And then my quote, and what comes top of mind for you, is there's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships. What comes top of mind here on the Coach V Hot Seat would you talk to the audience about in terms of your experience?
Yeah, man, I have no problem with accumulating things and accolades, but when you say that quote to me, man, it just hits me like in my spirit, because it's the relationships that we form that's gonna be the legacy that we leave behind. And it's the people that we impact and the relationships that we make and the people that we meet. I mean, that's gonna be an example for my kids. You know, I mean, that's the example that I want to set to them, is like, you know, I mean, yeah, it's okay to, you know, want to achieve the best in your life, but if you're not impacting somebody in your life by the example that you lead, then you really got to ask yourself, what is your life really going to amount to?
No, I love that.
For stuff, or are you going to be known for reaching your kids, reaching your community, you know, reaching the world?
I love that. And then lastly on the hot seat is when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame here in my city of Elk Grove. So shout out Elk Grove and shout out to all the community partners and the people that really volunteer with me to impact the community in which we live is just that fact, right? I'm from Pomona. I'm Tongan, but in the community in which I live, when you say my name, people are going to say some good things about me. And mainly because of the collaborations that I have and what I do for other people, not what I do for myself, right? In that, the first words that come out of my mouth when I was inducted was Elk Grove. I just don't live here. This is my home. So when you talk about be the change that you want to be, if there's a place that you're looking for to be that change, do it in your community. When I say that here on the Coach V Hot Seat B, what comes top of mind?
It doesn't matter where you come from. Your past is never going to determine who you're going to become. And it's during the process of wanting to change and wanting to impact, and the person that you become is going to be so much greater. And that's why I appreciate you so much, Coach. Man, just to see the transformation that you made and the level and at which you hold yourself, that's very inspiring to me, man. And I always, like I said, I want to be around people like that are doing things for their community, that are selfless, that are doing things for the youth, because honestly, that's who's going to be here when we're gone. And if we can't reach them, who is? And
Yeah,
that's what I ask myself.
I appreciate that. Yes, sir. And I'll just throw in one more for you to just share what comes top of mind, in which case I didn't create this quote, but I say it very differently, right? Is if service is below you, high level leadership and high level productivity and wealth and success is above you too. Your thoughts on that, B?
Man, it's just the way up is down. That's how I look at it. Like if you're, like you said, if you're not willing to serve even your wife, your kids, how are you going to be able to serve the thousands, the 100,000s that are in the community that you're wanting to impact? And it's true, you got to be able to do the things that you're asking other people to do. And that's how I've always lived. Like, I'm not going to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself.
Yes, sir.
And I always have to find the people that are doing what I'm looking for, so we can collaborate. And that's what it is partnering with people. You're that's like our slogan, and it's on the back of my shirt right here. It says,
yeah,
we are the village.
That's right.
It takes a village. It does take a village to raise these kids, and you got to get them around the right people. And you got to introduce them, and you got to mentor them, and you got to love on them. And that's all we're trying to do. And that's all we're trying to do.
No, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. Final word on being on the Coach V show, and then I will do our outro.
It's been an honor, Coach. Man, never done an interview before, so this is like raw, uncut, from the heart. And that's what I told Candice. I'm just going to speak from the heart. I prayed on it. I just want to make sure that I'm relatable.
Yeah, right.
And that's
real.
All that's all we're trying to do is not. I'm not trying to be better than anyone. I'm
real
just
talk.
Trying to be real. I'm trying to be authentic. I want people to relate to me. I want there somebody to see this interview and be like, man, I was so ashamed of that.
Right.
And that's what I'm really trying to do is get you out of that mindset of thinking that your life's never going to change. This is what my life's going to amount to. This is what all my family is my family ever is going to be. I want kids to know that there is a life out there that is meant for you, but it ain't gonna be given to you. You got to go out there and get it.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Go out there and you earn it, right? And then you respect the life that you live. And when
that's right,
you respect it, others will too.
That's right. That's some real talk. That's a great final word, man. Because that's why people don't appreciate things. People don't appreciate things they had to earn because it was given to them. But when you got to earn your own house, when you earn the gas that's coming out of your stove or the lights that are on, that's what my parents used to be like, how come you never turned off the lights when I was young, man? It's like, I didn't pay the bill. Yeah, man. But now it's the same thing with my kids, and my kids get it, man. I really appreciate them and Martha and how they are. And I appreciate you coming on the show, being vulnerable. You did a great job for this first time. I so happen to not be able to have somebody that was booked to be on here, and it didn't work out. So then I reached out to you and Candice, because we already talked about, hey, we got to get you on the show at some point. Where here it is. I knocked on the door and you answered, man. So I really appreciate you answering the call to come here and be featured and really share your insights and your story with the world, man. Sharing your success, your significance, and your story is going to impact not just one. Because for all the speakers out there that are always talking about, man, if I could just impact one person, you better be more effective and efficient than that, right? Because one, people don't pay people like that to public speak. So a lot of the public speakers that come up to me is like, right, if we just impact one person. No, when they're paying you $20,000 for a 30-minute spiel, your return on investment has to be better. But also, if you're doing it for free, like I do 100 times a year, right? Standing in front of a team, or coaching one of my teams, or coaching in a league, and the league asks you, or some community asks center, man, be scripted and share your story so that you impact somebody to be better than they would have been yet if they did not see you. So I appreciate you sharing that story so much. And to everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in to the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise here on Island City Media, where the beach meets the streets. I want to thank my boy Basilio II for coming on and talking about being 18 months in jail and having that not be his legacy, but then created his own redemption, created a family, found an amazing person to be his partner, and then do his deal and have actually the courage, to leave the Yay area and go to Vegas and build the life that he wants to live, and doing what he wants to do. So thank you for that. And to everybody else, we'll see you next week on the Coach B Show, every Monday Motivation Monday here, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And for B and I, it's just not for the sake of success that we do shows like this, but really for the sake that you be your best. In doing so, you realize the best of your abilities, and that everything and anything that you dream, work, and pray for can be achieved. This is how your Pinoy Filipino brother B lives, and your boy Coach V lives, all about faith and family. I'm grateful for God's amazing grace. From your boy B, down in the 702 Las Vegas, Nevada, and your boy from Elk Grove, California, via Dash Radio, Island City Media Group. Here, we will see you next Motivation Monday. One love, mad respects, live it. Peace.